Yeah, well, good morning, John and Rainey. I just thought I'd take a few shots of our fall scenery around here. You know, something to bore you with for a few minutes. This corn, of course, it'll stay here till the snow's on, and then the guy, there's about 20-30 acres there. He's got a lot of it. I don't know whether the sun's probably in the lens. He will pick that all around Christmas or January. They call it low moisture corn or something like that, or high moisture corn. I don't know what the deal is. I need to run my battery down anyway, you know, and I had this tape kicking around. So I thought, well, what the hell? We'll give John a little bit of entertainment here. I'll get out here. You can't see probably down just beyond that stop sign down there is Mother's house. That's how far it was away. There's the garage. There's the old, yeah, you can't see it. Probably the old farmhouse where this toddler was born. I'm out back the house here and I see my neighbor's little dog called Bullet. He's a Basset Beagle. He's quite a little character. He got a mind of his own, I'll tell you. Take a quick shot of the old bridge that we built, a number of years ago. I've got that all on tape also. There's 13 big I-beams underneath there. It'll hold up a concrete truck. Now last week I had the little dozer out. So I thought, well, I'll make a little path down through our creek here. And then if we get a big flood like rolling down through here, it'll have a place to go before it dumps all that gravel it always puts in. Normally I'll work all this gravel right back up on the banks. But this time I thought, well, I'll just drop the blade and run down through there. Nice little stream of water here now. We've had enough rain, as you know, to build it back up. Normally it will, in the summer months, I'm going to swing around upstream. That'll make you dizzy. This never dries up in the summer. I've never seen it go dry on this upper side. Very peculiar. It'll always be running right down here to the bridge, and you walk the other side of the bridge and there's no water. It's been that way most of the summer. We hadn't had that much rain sometimes here. But once the water table gets up a little, we get enough rain, then it continues to flow on downstream. As that creek gets down to the old farmhouse down there, there's another stream that comes down this valley that I'm looking at here. The creek is right behind me. That creek is a different creek. It's fed by springs and never goes dry. Beautiful brook trout stream. Used to be one of the best in central New York. But they did some logging way up the valley years ago and it put the silt down into their spawning beds. Never been the same yet since. My Osage orange has gone dead on me. I don't know if it's ever going to get up in the air. This is that bunch that looks like weeds down through here. I don't know. For some reason, it's very late in the spring when that starts to grow new shoots and leaves out. As it gets, it looks like a bramble bush. I don't know if it ever mounted anything or not. I think it's too thick, really. But I sowed it like you would peas, you know. This is the old sawmill area. That's our target butt where we do our sighting in. Pete Van's been over here with his grandson blasting away. I heard him. I'll just pan around here a second. There's a little shooting house over there. The one on the right used to be a skeet range house. It was up in the air 10 feet. I needed the poles for the bridge. I've got the old diesel truck That was a 81, 6.2 diesel. Good truck, but as you know, around here we got salt in the body, so I'll go to hell on you. I got a little load of wood on there. I got it. The reason it's out here in the sun is to cure that wood a little bit. That's another little lean-to I just built for storage area. On the other end's another one. That's my old hunting car. That's an old Jeep, four-wheel driver. Not in too good a shape, but one reason I told everybody, they said, why'd you put the roof on this side? I said, well, to balance that building, you know. Here's another vehicle. That's the truck that I was driving, and that's got a dump box on it, and I got a blade for it. Indispensable last winter, but it was getting to the point where rust and stuff underneath, I really didn't trust it for any prolonged, extensive trips, you know. So we got a different one, and I keep these around for plowing stuff out, and I don't know what the hell I keep them for, but anyway, they're here. This is a pile of white pine. I got in, I think it was around 3,300 feet. And 1,000 feet went to a buddy of mine. The next 1,000 went to Kathy for her lodge down on her pond. And what was left is I soldered into odds and ends and piled it up here. Of course, I had to get down and buy a roofing to cover it up. That tarp stuff don't work out in the long run. I still got, I had around 6,600 feet of hemlock. And this is what's left of it. I keep moving it around the yard here. There's 3 good logs there. That one, they'll run 150 feet probably in that bigger one. But it's awful handy stuff for framework building. Of course, this thing here, she's a thing of beauty, that truck. You kind of have to admire it. The fact that it's still around and still running. There's something there that probably, John, you would laugh yourself sick at. That's that old wild apple tree that I pruned, or not pruned, but grafted Cortland apples on. And over a period of a couple of years, I did away with all the old original limbs in there, and the graft took hold and really done good. We only got, well, of course, the frost raises hell with me in the spring. We got about a bushel of apples off of it. But it needs pruning bad, and I've been trying to get a hold of some expert to tell me what to do. Otherwise, I'll just go in there and start whittling. Maybe you can give me some pointers, I don't know. Behind that is a brush and what have you. Now those weeping willows way over there, they're worthless, but I stuck them little shoots in the ground, oh geez, I don't know how many years ago, and it just went hog wild. Behind all this brush in here is a pond the ducks seem to like. There's a little tree, pine tree I planted. I planted a bunch of them right on my town line, on my property line, and there's only been that one, I think, and one other one that survived. But I don't have any trouble with my neighbor anyway. He's a good egg. Here's a few more hemlock here. I ought to get them over there in a pile with the rest of them. Now, I'm into the wood cutting business on cherry right now, trying to build up a larder for another year. I've got probably enough for this winter. I don't know if this pays to cover it up or not, but they don't cure out as good when you do that. This is a Sunday morning. Marie's gone to church, and I'm observing the Sabbath by not hunting, of course. And I was going to come over here and finish splitting on some of this cherry, but I got sidetracked into making this stupid tape here. This old hootenanny was a 51 Jeep originally. I'm on my the Jeep engine long ago went out. I had a Studebaker overdrive behind it at one time. Took it up north hunting and used it. It was a nice little car. As you can see, it's a little everything now. It's got a well, it's an old Army deal that comes off of the Jeep transmission. It runs my hydraulics, and I'm on my second Chevy engine in there. The Chevy engine there was one that Ma had, 64 I think it was. I had a 51 Chevy engine there, and that had poured rods, and I wanted the ones with the inserts. This splitter I rigged on the front end. It's got a hydraulic jack so you can pick it right up. I've probably told you all this junk before, but oh well, you're hearing it again. Of course, as you know, you have got a button on that TV. You can turn it off. There is the hoist. My neighbor bought an electric truck, a Niagara Mohawk electric truck, had a winch on. He didn't want it, and so I cabbaged onto it and put it on here. Works good. I don't use this too much in the woods anymore, just for splitting. Everything you see, mostly everything you see, there's one apple tree, a wild one, down in there, but most everything you'll see around here is either thorn trees, tamaracks, or junk. Now this cherry, this whole pile is cherry. I discovered over the many years, I hadn't paid that much attention, down this little piece of woods, there was a bunch of it, and some nice cherry. There's about 4 or 5 left. That's one of them right there. And the ones I got out I hauled them all out of here for firewood. And then I got feeling a little embarrassed that I was sawing up cherry and everybody giving me hell for cutting up nice cherry. So the couple of butt logs I sawed and put into boards and plank, and they're underneath the boat in here. I tell you what, I just for the hell of it, now these are my edgings from the sawmill. Not knowing what else to do with them, I bring them down here in the weeds and pot them, figuring some winter I'll set fire to them. I don't dare do it in the summertime, and I might even get in trouble in the winter, I don't know, but I've got a lot of that stuff. No place else to put it. This is a little crawler track here, my bulldozer I went down through to get my cherry out. And I also hooked on with a cable to a big dead old maple across the creek over there by my friend's house, and pulled that across the creek. Then I pulled it out with a bulldozer and loaded it on, took it over to him to use for firewood. I'm getting into mud here now. His ducks and geese and stuff, they've got all kinds of water here. There's I don't know if that shows up through here or not, probably not. I dug this. This is separate from the creek. You can't fool with that trout stream. Conservation be on you like a ton of brick. In fact, there's the animals right over there now. But they can get over into this little, it's like a little pond, and have a ball. I don't know how this stuff's going to show up. As you can see, these are my thorn trees. You've got fruit trees, and I've got thorn trees. See, this whole area here used to be a beautiful pasture. In 1935, the flood come down through and washed all through here and brought in a bunch of gravel. And with it, these, I'm assuming these thorn tree seeds or something, because the thing grew up to it like a little jungle. There's another cherry, pretty good size fork, so I've cut one one off of it. I don't know whether I'll drop that this winter. I'll probably drop it this winter. Some of this trash stuff, I don't know whether it's worth burning or not, or fit to burn. The neighbors' kids come over in here and have a ball. They got like a tree house. They play Tarzan and all that sort of stuff. I think I heard a shot. Probably they're duck hunting up on Pete's Pond. I don't know. Something's going on. This is the area where I dragged that tree out. There is a stump right there. It was a big tall maple and all dead. That's his little garden house. It's got all kinds of weird birds in it. Quail and what have you. There's one of his grandsons walking around. They had a big day yesterday. They got their pumpkin farm going, and they had a steady stream of customers, and I think they made a little money on it, because he said they were buying a lot of pumpkins. This is a little creek that never dries up here. It's a nice little spring brook. I built him a little walk bridge so he could come over here and feed animals if he had some animals over here. And his grandchildren come across there and play. I just dragged some timbers down out of the woods and then cut slab wood into cross pieces. Made a nice little bridge for him. So far we haven't had enough high water. It's been right up to the bridge, but it hasn't taken it out of there. Yeah, you can see some of the pumpkin farm over there going. The neat's got her clothesline back up. That was hooked to that tree. I said to Pete, hell, hook it right to that garden house, which worked out fine. Well, I guess we'll meander back here. God, I thought my battery would be run down before now. I got another battery. And like I said, I wanted to run this one down and then recharge it. But you keep charging without running them down, they develop a short memory. I got a few cherry tops in here. I haven't fooled with them yet. This is kind of like a little jungle. My kids, as we raised them, used to have a ball over in here. They'd build little semi-cabins, and they often figured they'd go stay overnight. And about an hour or two after dark, they come boiling in the house. They got scared there was Indians or something over here. This is kind of a jungle around here. I've made a circle through the jungle, and we're back to the open country a little bit. Now those evergreens, I think they're Norway spruce. Been so long since we planted them, I don't remember, but that, believe it or not, that whole area was once 500 strawberry plants. And after cultivating them for a couple of years and fighting the bugs and everything else, I said to hell with it, and we planted her into trees. And of course, there's everybody's favorite nestled in the trees, the old proverbial outhouse. There's another little old jeepy snowplow. You probably know what guinea hens are. Pete's got a flock of guinea hens. He's using this. I'm not. He did have some exotic animals in here, but I don't see them now. I think he took them over. You got some species of quail, some odd species of pheasants, and the guinea hens. The guineas make good watchdogs, of course. No, I'm taking a shot here just for the pure hell of it. That's woods up there. It was on our property when I was a kid. I spent a lot of time up in there. We used to make maple syrup out of it. Pete's had it all logged off. I think it took out of there around $20,000 to $30,000 worth of maple. And that weed, there's thorn trees. My deer stand is right in a big tree, right in the center of the picture behind there. I put a ladder up to it and a chair, and got a little shelf for my coffee, and nice little place to relax and go to sleep. Because I can't fall out, I got a guard in front of it. I don't know if I'll go up there this winter or not, this fall. I think I took shots of this before, but what the devil, I'm filling up tape. So I built this, well, I went out and bought a nail gun, just a purpose. And then I had to build something with it, so I built this housing for my backhoe. I don't know, the sun probably bleeds this stuff right out, I don't know. On the other end of it is storage enough room where I put that old Jeep log splitter deal. And of course the little crawlers in here. You can see the tread, and that's about it. It's a little 1010 John Deere. Now there's the temperature. As you can see, it's about 56 such a matter. She's down to, I think it got a little below 30 last night, but it's warmed up now pretty decent. You're talking about 95. Meister cried, I'm glad we ain't got that here. Because I would not be cutting or splitting any wood. From this angle, that old Chevy diesel ain't a bad looking truck. That's the one I had the camper on and used to go up in Quebec with. You got fantastic mileage for towing a boat with a heavy camper, weighed over a ton. And I would get, I think 17, 18 miles a gallon, which was, 17, 18 miles a gallon, which for a Chevy truck, 3/4 ton is amazing. Gasoline, you'd be running 8 and 9. That's a little pile of hemlock there. Just boards. When I cut an order, I always have stuff left over, and I just keep piling it out there. They're all 12-footers. Now we're in the truck. I thought I'd take a run up on the hill where the pond is, just see if there's duck hunters. Pete's got a nice, yeah, you got quite a few of them customers down here now. Yep. They got a bunch of dummies out there. I'm always kidding Pete on the holler over, which the hell wins the dummies? Got a totem pole, I think it's going bad on him. He got little lights in it for night. It says park here, but I don't think we will. There's the old tree, incidentally, the one I cut and brought over here. The old dead maple. It don't look so menacing laying there on the ground. Of course, you probably realize we're in farm country and you don't have too many macadam roads out here in farmland. Maybe it looks familiar. There's some of my slabwood he cuts up for the pig house. Here's some of his pumpkin land. He got them covered, but I don't know. They survived some of them freezes. We had down to 22. It looks like that plastic would keep them. I don't know. Right dead ahead is the big dam that contains the big pond that he had a guy come in here and build. The only thing I did was build it a little higher on this end. I didn't have much to do with building it per se. I did put in the overflow on it, and I built this road here because he had a real mess. And mistakes is to say that there's a big ditch on the side of the road. Don't drive in it. Now we're getting up to that woods I took a shot from down in the sawmill yard. Ooh, a good one. I build roads like that, you know, just on purpose. It keeps the city folks out. I'm going to turn around here. I think I'll just shut my camera off. Well, now, what the hell, I want to run the battery down, I'll just let it run. If I can shift this sucker with one hand, crows are flying. This is a nice little ecology place right here. Environmental perfect, let's say. You got brush, deer hang in there. The big pond is, well, the guys were shooting ducks on it yesterday. Duck season opened yesterday. Of course, we don't usually shoot ducks. Pete's got enough of them down there. Come fall, we usually clean them out. It's a little easier that way than it is to come up here shooting them. I'm going to get out for just a minute. I'm having quite a time doing it. First I put it in reverse, I open the door, I'm going, oh geez, here comes the guy. Well, I'm going to have to get out of his road. Old senile John, I got out of this thing. First it was going backwards with the door open. Here comes that guy. Now I got out and left it run. I don't know what that bird's doing. I guess he's gonna... I have no idea what he's doing up there. Oh, I know. He got a bunch of beehives. Yeah, that's it. The overflow that I put in after the pond had settled and built up a ways, you can't see it, but I'm walking around top of it. There's a big tube goes through underneath it here. Ah, see, the pond's down low. The tube is right down here under my feet. Huh. I don't see any waterfowl. Probably got sick of all that banging irritated their ears. They left a big island in the center when they built her. Not the center, but on the edge there. Water goes all the way around it. We had geese here this spring, and it looked like they're going to nest on that island, but suddenly they up and left, so be it. I brought my boat up here the other day. I'm thinking of selling it. I got a 9.5 Johnson. Had to put a water pump on it, and I brought it up to try it out. I could stir this pond up pretty good with that thing. I could get going full blast up in that end and make a circle down here and cut it right around. And it stirred things pretty good. Over yonder is our nest boxes for wood ducks. The guys that was hunting up here yesterday said there was a whole bunch of wood ducks behind that island that took off. I don't think they got any of them. I haven't checked. I'll check the boxes when the ice gets on, renew the bedding, and be able to tell how many was used because of what few eggshells are left in the down. I know there's one. I checked that this fall. That one right over there. That had they raised a nest, a bunch in there. Well, so much for the... Now there's another little pond right directly behind this pond. I've got a bunch of boxes up there, and that's where we had one year, I think there was 7 wood ducks. I took pictures of them. Got a little shack up there. You can't quite make it out. It's right there in the brush. And I can set in there and take pictures. It's right top. It's right on the edge of the water. Got some beautiful shots with the VCR. Good looking cattails right here. Huh. All this stuff planted itself apparently after he got the pond. He hasn't seeded the pond, the bank here or nothing. And of course it isn't what you call lawn grass, but at least it does grow. Burdock grow. There's somebody's truck over there. Oh, that's mine. Hey. Talk about old age, John. My doggone battery don't seem to be running down. I don't understand that. I think the thing to do is to bring it home, set it on the table, and just let it run. Now, I've probably mentioned before now, maybe not. A neighbor on the other side. We got awful good neighbors here. Bob Muncie. He's a great hunter and hell of a good mechanic. He can do anything. He's semi-retired. He run a brand new paving machine for some outfit in Syracuse this summer part-time. Makes big money doing that. It's not steady work, but it's just the way he likes it. They have now shoved off for Florida. They got a big fifth wheeler, but he got that parked in the barn he built out of my hemlock. And this year, last year, they bought I think it's a trailer down there in a lot. So they drove down with their car, and they'll come back up for Christmas with their kids. Then they'll go back down. He don't like cold weather. There's a bird's eye view of, well, now we're looking down on the sawmill lot. You can just barely see it down there in the pine trees. House next door. You can't see our house hardly. Way up yonder is the cemetery and them pine trees. That ought to thrill you. But this is the mountains that we have here. That's what we call a Owego Hill. It was so named, theoretically. The Indians used to go over it and they'd say, "Oh, we go." I'll bet that's a lot of hooey. Probably said, "Ugh, this hill too steep." I got most of my oak off of that ridge up there. Pretty good oak it grows. There's somebody running a chainsaw up in Pete's woods, and I asked Pete and he said he didn't know. But he didn't seem to think he ought to go up and investigate. Said something about, well, maybe the guy's got a gun with him. I don't know. Hard to tell. We always wanted to get a big bulldozer, Pete and I mean a gigantic one, like a D8. Take it right up here in this flat. That's his pasture. And make one huge lake ending right about there somewhere. Stay away from the creek. See, that creek splits up above. There's one part of it comes right down along. It used to come right out down there, and the other one comes over and feeds that little pond I mentioned over there, where I planted those weeping willows. We call this thing here Teeson Hollow. It's about oh God, it's a mile and a half anyway up that valley. I keep the road open with a bulldozer, but it's been abandoned and reversed back to the owners on either side. Heading back down the pike here. I'm going a little bit different road. This is down yonder is I'm gonna stop this thing a second here. I don't see any animals on it right now. There's a little pond I built down there. There's a series of ponds. These all stem from this little ditch right on my left that goes down through. There's the other one. I told Pete there's no use wasting this water. Let's make a few little ponds. Well, the ducks love that setup. They're usually in here like a herd of sheep, but I think they're over on the creek now. There's some big geese, and they seem to dictate what they're going to do today. You know, they get together in the morning and have a gabble and decide where they're going to go. Oh, ain't a bird in sight. It's too bad this ain't smell-o-vision. You can smell the pigs. Oh, God. You drive along here, you think you're... See, he has sort of like a petting zoo here for the kids. There's a little calf that runs loose. Oh, God, speaking of the devil, here he comes. Hi, Jesus. He's right here bright and early this morning. I've been up taking a few pictures, Pete. I'm gonna send this thing to John. And I just said, well, here comes the old boy himself, and I wish to say something smart.
You know that's not possible.
No, I just met that vehicle up on the hill, and
Honeyman.
Yeah, I realized afterwards he headed over for that. What's he going to do? Soar up for the winter, or take honey off, or what?
No, I think you already got it off. He left Nita 8 quarts.
Oh, he did? She can guzzle down the 8 quarts, you think?
She'll share some with her dad, probably.
Ah.
I don't eat it.
You got sunshine. You should have a big crowd today.
So they've started already. So
I see that. Yeah. We'll see ya. Typical farm here, kid. Now we're back over to where that, just for the hell of it, there's that stump behind the bushes there. That was a nasty tree. It was deader than a mackerel. Now there's his wife. She's one working girl, I'll tell you. She's wheeling pumpkins around right now. She spends more time sorting pumpkins. Now you might wonder what these bed sheets are. It's not the Ku Klux Klan. It's stuff they cover the pumpkins up with so they don't freeze at night. There's another totem pole. The wind's blowing. It's probably whistling in this mic. Yeah, she spends a lot of time sorting pumpkins. She's a fairly, you could even say miserly. She don't give any weight away. They're all kind of graded. She won't pay attention to me. She's used to people taking pictures. Their grandchildren come down and help them a lot here, aside from playing. Yeah. I'm trying to run my battery down, and I thought, well, I'm going to send this to California.
Mine's probably run down if I haul many more pumpkins.
You are? You're getting tired? This is Anita, John. Can you say anything smart? I asked Pete, and he didn't come up with nothing.
It's too early in the morning.
Okay. I'll leave you go. I think you're in for a good day, Nate.
Yeah.
Well, John, got her in 4-wheel. Little bouncy muddy here. But I thought I might as well irritate you a little more. This is Teeston Hollow. This is where I was taking a picture of from up on the mountains. And I thought, well, I'll run up here about a mile or so. Just show you the nice seclusion we've got. Because we got the bridge down there which controls who can travel up this road, and we don't really allow vehicles up here. It makes it kind of nice for, now Pete owns both sides of the road right here. We've had a few wanting to come up here in their vehicles, and we said, no, if you want to walk up there and hunt, fine. But we don't want vehicles up here. mainly because it's like a one-way track, and if I'm up here or Pete, it's a little difficult to pass. John, you ought to, I wish you'd get out here some year, some month, some week. You might enjoy this. I don't know. It isn't the kind of a place that I don't think Doug Strong appreciated or anything, but we're a little more in the backwoods type here. There's been quite a lot of deer taken down this old road. As I said before, I kind of maintain it with a bulldozer. As you can see, it ain't too bad a shape. But I put ditches along the side here. We got a mud puddle down here that it used to be real miserable. Ain't so bad now. There was a kid up here bow hunting last night. He parked down by the house. In fact, he parked right in the beginning of this road, and I went over to him. I said, "Hey, wish you'd park this well." He says, "Pete told me I could hunt up here." I said, "Oh yeah, you can hunt up here, but don't block the doggone road." This is what city people do, out in the country. They think all these little roads and driveways are parking areas where there may be some farmer wants to haul his manure spreader up through there. It sort of irritates me because I know if you went into the city and turned around their driveway, they're just have to call the cops on you. But they seem to think the country is free reign. I've got my eye on a couple oak up in here. I haven't got to them yet, I guess. Yeah, there's one right there. That's a red oak. Ain't a bad-looking tree. Of course, it belongs to Pete, but he thinks they ought to be cut before too long. I got one good one up here. There isn't many oak up in here. It's mostly the hardwoods of maple and soft maple and beech. Of course, the beech is going to hell. Now, on the other side, it's a little hard to show. This drops right down into that same creek that runs down there behind Pete, and then it's steep up on the other side. It's what we call Pewterbaws. At this point of the road, Pewterbaugh owns on the left, and Pete still owns on the right. There's some basswood along here. I've cut quite a lot of stuff along this old road to help clear it out and keep it open. It was built many years ago and was called Woodchuck Hollow once upon a time, and then old Germans moved in by the name of Thiessen. I kept thinking I'd see a partridge, but I don't. And they're on above here. I've got a road I built, branches right here to the right, goes up in. I'll go on straight ahead a minute and back up, turn around. The Thiessens had a farm up in here in the old days, and they raised hogs and cattle, and this, I'm talking back in the 20s and the 30s, and the old man died up there. I'm not going on any further. It gets where it scratch up my truck. The old hunting car, I'll use that up through here. But it goes another mile on up through here. But the old man Thiessen died, I'm thinking around 29, and of course this road was only maintained by him and Dad, and he had to go up and get the old guy. He died in his bed, and he went up here with a team of horses in the wintertime and a bobsled and hauled him out. And then she finally moved out of here, and the place fell down, of course. I'm going to shut this down and turn around. That's probably great news for you. I'm starting to feel like a tour guide. Anyhow, this road originally went right on up through. It was a total length of, I think, around 2.5 miles. It come out on a main road. The upper half has been abandoned, and one reason is it swings to the left as you go up through and cuts across that creek down there that I mentioned, and there's a bridge. Well, I was the last one to travel that bridge. It had 2 nice I-beams in it. So this was in 46, I took Dad's tractor and went up there and dragged them 2 I-beams down, and they're now down in the basement supporting, stiffening up the kitchen floor and, the laundry room area. So that was the end of that bridge. I think the last time I drove across that bridge was with a Model T, and it had a few planks that had to be placed just right so you could stay on it. God, I hope this stuff is interesting to you. If it ain't, it's one hell of a bore. Huh? We got signs no vehicles, but we don't worry about the snowmobilers. This is a great snowmobile trail. And it winds up, they don't, of course, being abandoned in the upper end, they can't get through there. Or they could, but they'd have to do some sawing. It crosses a big pipeline that was put in. Well, of course, the pipeline is maintained by the oil company, and both sides of the valley is quite steep. And it's a great challenge to the snowmobilers to climb either side up in there. One side will take them out and heads towards Dryden. But in the wintertime, there's a bunch of them traveling. I used to do that in my younger days, John. We used to go up here at the upper end by the pipeline down by the creek. We'd take our victuals with us, and early on, like a Sunday morning, and we'd have bacon and eggs and have a bully time. Don't seem to appeal to me anymore so much. It could be old age is setting in. I don't know. That's one possibility. Used this doggone camera since, spring, I guess, when we went to Albany. And I'm amazed that this battery is still going. It's hard to believe. In my viewfinder, there's a little E and a bunch of dashes after that. And when them dashes start disappearing one by one, you know your battery's running down. But so far, there's 2 little dashes, and they've been there the whole time. Or either it's lying to me, or the battery's a lot better shape than I thought. Probably Marie's going to be a little upset. Nah, she won't. When she comes home and said, well, did you get your wood split? And I'll say, no. Well, what'd you do? Well, I went out and took some pictures. For what? I said, well, for John out in California. And that'll cool her right off. She won't find any problem with that. Still on the Teeston Hollow Road, but to the right is my sawmill property, and then we're coming back up on the old bridge. That sound like anything you ever heard, John? Well, there, my E is blinking. That means she's getting down. John, I have to blame you. I got my truck all mud, so I think I'll shut this little sucker off and I got a power washer that steps up to 1200, I think. That really does the job. So if you don't hear from me again, see you all later, Rainey and John.